Today on Cold Email Teardowns, we're going through how to sell websites via cold email. Stick around, this is going to be a good one.
Oh, we'll stick around, Alex. We'll stick around. In this video, you're going to learn the best cold email template to sell web design services and get more clients for your agency. We're going to be reacting to Alex Berman's cold email teardown video. I learned a lot of what I know about cold email from him, and I worked for Alex Berman for about a year when I brought in $1 million in sales for his agency, Experiment 27. I love Alex. He has great stuff. Highly recommend you subscribe to his channel. That said, I've taken on some new philosophies on cold email, and so I'm going to share with you what I think the best cold email script is for web design in 2023. I recommend you try both and see which one works best for you. Either way though, make sure you watch until the end of this video, because if you don't, you'll probably make some of the common cold email mistakes that will leave you getting responses like, unsubscribe, not interested, take me off your list. It's really frustrating to get these responses, and it really just leaves you feeling stuck. So I highly recommend you watch until the end so you can learn how to avoid these mistakes and actually start booking meetings for your business. Real quick, grab the free lead generation training down below. It teaches you how to generate leads for cold email, specifically pain-based prospecting. I'm going to show you how to build lead lists of prospects that actually already want to buy. These people have the pain that you solve. They need web design services. They value web design. And so when you reach out to them, it will give you a relevant reason to reach out, and it will make your offer stand out in a crowd of emails in their inbox. As you can see here, 2 of my recent tests with this strategy had 90% plus open rates and 20% reply rates. Let's get into the video.
Subject line: Alex, quick question about your website. Hi, Alex. Then he has best first line generated from QuickLines. QuickLines, if you don't know, is an AI first line generation tool that uses the power of AI to write a custom complement to start off your cold email campaigns.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying I'm not a big fan of these AI first line writing tools for 2 reasons. One, it's realistically really hard to write a good first line, especially with an AI. And all of the first lines end up seeing similar. They just mention some random thing from your LinkedIn profile, and it doesn't really feel human. Modern buyers, at least the ones that you want to be selling to who are high value, they'll see right through this. Number 2, even if you wrote a valuable personalized first line complimenting a recent podcast interview, for example, I don't think that these work so well anymore, because if you're in a market like e-commerce that's been hit to death with this template, this personalized opening line, the personalized opening line doesn't work the way it used to. Back in the day, you used to be able to send a custom compliment and mention a podcast, and since every other email was just generic spam, it worked really well to have a personalized opener. Now that most people have personalized opening lines in certain niches, especially e-commerce, you have to actually take it a step further and not only have a personalized opener, but a relevant opener that actually hits on something relevant to your prospect, not just a random, hey, I saw your podcast, do you want to buy from me? And just so you know, the openers that I use, relevant observations to my prospects that get high open rates and response rates, are actually based on the reason I added them to my pain-based prospecting list in the first place. So once again, go to the description and grab the free pain-based prospecting training.
This would be something like, hey, Alex, saw that you went to FGCU. Go Eagles. I was looking at your website and noticed that if it was just a little more organized and clear, your community would be even more empowered to self-inform and self-advocate like they probably already wish they could. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's going on.
I agree with him right here. It's really hard to communicate with just written word. You have to be incredibly specific with your word choice. Otherwise, you won't communicate properly with your prospects, and a lot of the time, your cold emails fall flat due to being vague. And in this case, this email is way too vague. It doesn't communicate any real value, and it's a sign that you don't really know your market or the specific things your prospects care about. It's going to cause you to fail.
Our dedicated team has the experience to effectively guide you and the board through an efficient process to improve your website while amplifying its utility. Okay.
Again, he's saying nothing here. I agree with Alex.
We recently put together a case study highlighting the results, including drastically improved website analytics that we were able to achieve for Spokane Housing Authority that I'd love to share with you if you're interested. Do you have time for a quick call this week or next? How do we improve this? Well, let's start with the TOC, Target Offer Case Study.
Okay, the Target Offer Case Study is a great framework to think through your outbound campaign. Who am I targeting? What am I offering them? And why should they trust me? I had a guy comment on one of my videos recently saying, hey, I haven't been getting good results with cold calling for Facebook ads. And I was like, well, have you ever done a good job with Facebook ads before? And he said, no, I've never done Facebook ads before. So That is the reason why you're not doing well. If you don't have any experience or any case studies or any results, you're not going to be confident in your offer. You're not going to know what to say or who to say it to. Your prospects can tell that you're inexperienced. So instead of trying to fake that you're this guy that knows what he's doing, I recommend just getting a job and like doing it and getting good at it before you go out on your own, right? And once you have a good case study, once you understand the specific offer, the specific problem that you solved, you'll easily be able to pick a target and make an offer for your niche. For example, I've helped agencies book hundreds of meetings and close over $1 million in sales, right? I know that agency owners rely on referrals for growth. I know that agency owners don't know how to generate their own leads, and therefore they feel stuck and they feel like their growth is inconsistent and they don't know when the next client's going to come out of the sky, right? If I say that to an agency owner, then they automatically feel like I'm experienced in their world because what I'm saying is resonating with them. So if you don't have that same experience, you're not going to do well. Don't try and skip the case study. It's not going to be good.
And then the case study we can pull from the email itself, which was Spokane Housing Authority, including drastically improved website analytics. I wish he wrote what those were because he doesn't write what they are. So let me just make them up and then he can include the real data.
So he's totally right. The case study can't be something that is random and vague. This case study does not really provide any value. It's too vague. It doesn't actually hit on a specific metric that they care about. It doesn't articulate a specific pain point that they care about. It actually just makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about.
I like to write cold emails that follow the 3 C's of an effective cold email campaign. That is compliment, case study, call to action. Open with the compliment, hit them with that case study, ask for a meeting with the call to action.
So the 3 C's framework that Alex is talking about here has worked quite well for me. I've brought in over $1 million in sales with this framework, and it's helped a lot of my consulting clients also. So it does work, and it's way better than 95% of what's out there on the market. The problem with this has been used to death, especially in the e-commerce space, in the SaaS space. Cold Email Wizard made a course that sold way more than Alex Berman's for some reason, and all of a sudden, everybody was using it in the e-com space. So this framework is kind of dead. And the personalized opener isn't as good as a relevant opener. Like I mentioned before, the personalized line is overdone. Everyone's using personalized opening lines now. It's kind of the standard. And the problem is, once the industry catches up with the cutting edge technology, it becomes table stakes. For example, when in-flight Wi-Fi was a new feature, a new thing, the airline that had in-flight Wi-Fi was crazy. Everyone loved it. It was really cool to use. But as time went on, that feature, in-flight Wi-Fi, was adopted by pretty much every airline. So now it's expected that you'll have in-flight Wi-Fi on any flight, which is kind of a miracle in and of itself. It's pretty crazy that you can fly across the country in a few hours and actually have Wi-Fi while you're doing it. Anyway, so too with the 3 C's framework, personalized lines, in my opinion, have been overdone, and I've seen poor results within the recent past. So let's see what Alex says, and I'll tell you how I rewrite this script with the new framework: observation, insight, case study, call to action.
With that being said, let's do the before and after. Here's the before and here's the after. Subject, question. Hi Susan, saw that you went to FGCU. Go Eagles. Recently we built the Spokane Housing Authority website and they've already seen a 5x increase in conversions. I'd love to do similar for the Plano Housing Authority. Mind if I send over a few times to chat? Thanks, Andy.
Okay, so the before and after, I have to say the after is far better than the before in this case. The before is way too long. It is way too vague, and it's probably not going to get a response. The after, on the other side, is much better. It's way shorter. It's a lot tighter. The case study is more specific. It has a soft call to action. I like this email much better, but I think it can be improved even more. So if you're selling web design, I recommend you use both templates and see which one works better for you, because at the end of the day, it's all about testing and nobody really knows what's going to work until you try it. So after this video, spin up a cold email campaign using my pain-based prospecting training and go for it. Don't keep watching more and more videos. Try and send something and see what happens. So the problem with this script, as you can see, is that it's really hard to know what the actual conversion they were going for, because the original author was not specific at all with the conversion he's going for. So I'm going to have to be generic as well, but you can see the difference in my script versus Alex's in a second here. According to my pain-based prospecting training, the next step is to actually look at the sites you're reaching out to, look at the companies you're reaching out to, and try and find problems, signs, triggers that they might be interested in what you're selling. This way you can make your messaging relevant to them, stand out in the crowd. So considering the cold email script we're working with here is talking about conversions, I thought I would look for anything that's conversion rate optimization. And as you can see here, they have all these different options on their homepage, hero, which is not good. because it hurts conversions. And then if you click on one of these, it actually goes right to their PDF. It's kind of like a weird thing to send people. There's no email request or anything. So I don't know what Spokane Housing Authority's goal is here, but I'm just going to write a sample observation and then I'll tie it into a pain point. So I'm going to make something up here entirely. This is an example observation. You can watch my other recent videos for different examples of observations. You can say, hey Susan, notice Spokane Housing Authority mentioned improving the website in your annual newsletter, but the homepage links to different PDFs. It's probably harming your conversion rate. So let's say these organizations release some sort of annual newsletter where they mention their goals for the year and how they plan to achieve them. A lot of companies do this. If you look for something specific in a newsletter or in a post or an article or a press release talking about company goals, you can kind of figure out what the company is interested in. Or maybe you look for a job posting to see if they're hiring for a web developer or something like that, which would hint that they're interested as an organization in solving a problem that you can solve. So when you mention this in your opening line, right? Notice Spokane Housing Authority mentioned improving the website in your annual newsletter, but the homepage links to different PDFs. It's probably harming your conversion rate. So this is vague. I don't love this line here, but we're working with what we have. We're working with what the original author included, which was kind of vague. I'm making it up, but you can tell, right? This first sentence is not written by a chatbot, and it's much more relevant to the business problem than just saying, go Eagles, right? This is good, but this is better because it actually mentions a relevant business problem. Then it translates that observation into a pain, which is probably hurting your conversion rate, and follows it up with a relevant solution that they actually might want. It doesn't talk about the specific fix, that's why they have to get on the call, but it does mention an outcome that your prospect could expect if they respond to you. And then I tie the reason I reached out in the initial sentence back into my call to action. Since you're thinking about improvements this year, any interest in doing something similar? Question. Thanks, Jacob. So this is my version of the script, and don't worry, I didn't forget about the subject line. So I'm going to name this annual newsletter because let's say I'm reaching out to the director of marketing who just released a newsletter. If I use this as the heading, which is relevant to my opening line, it all ties in to the reason I reached out, and it's going to look personalized. So she'll have a higher chance of opening this because it's a relevant, personalized sentence in the opening line of the email, and it's a short, concise subject line that is relevant to the person and not a long newsletter style email, nor is it something so generic or overdone that they're not going to want to open. So there you have it, 2 email scripts side by side in the cold email showdown. If you want to use Alex's script, go for it. If you want to try my script, go for it, and let me know which variation works better for you. Either way, you're going to have a hard time booking meetings if you only send this email, whether you use mine or Alex's. You're going to want to have follow-ups in your sequence, and I've got a video all about cold email follow-up. Click the suggestion right here or the end screen, whatever I have on the screen. See you next time.